Bonjour. Welcome. This is part 6. Uh, ooh, this happens sometimes. When first loading into the game, it stutters. Not too entirely sure why. But anyways, this is part 6 of our Faith Incantation run. Last time, we talked to a bunch of NPCs. We went through Bonnie Village, up to the church district entrance. We went through there. We went through the storehouse back section and loft. We took out Gaius, and we got access to the hinterland. And here, we are at the Cathedral of Manus Metyr. And this has its own, like, mini storyline. Or side quest, I suppose it's called. With this NPC being at the helm. He's not gonna mind us just stealing that, is he? He probably didn't even see us steal it. We'll be fine. We'll be fine.
Well, we don't often receive visitors. I am Ymir. Welcome to Manus Metyr. It is a pleasure to have you. In lands so forsaken as these, chance encounters are precious indeed. Seeing that we have convened here on this day, allow me to mark the occasion with a modest offering. The map I gave you charts the site of a hallowed ruin. It is said that after sounding the hanging bell there, one's fate will be guided by the stars. I only wish to be of service, to help those who fight for their purpose. I'm not mistaken, am I? I can see it in your eyes. You are a fighter, are you not? Is something the matter? I've given you a map to the hallowed ruin. Oh, I suppose you expect a lesson of me, do you? I know the feeling. Those with purpose are nothing if not ravenous. For power. For truth. I am a glintstone sorcerer. We study the stars and examine the life therein. Are you familiar with our findings? Long ago, we began as stardust, born of a great rupture far across the skies. We too are children of the greater will. Is that not divine? Is that not sublime? And yet, none can fathom its implications. Its utter brilliance.
Okay. And he can sell you some sorceries. Glintstone Pebble, Great Glintstone Shard, Glintblade Phalanx, Carrion Phalanx, and Carrion Retaliation. I believe all are found in the base game, but this one, Miriam's Vanishing, is new to the DLC. I'm pretty sure I showed it off in the previous run, the int run. It just lets you teleport a short distance, like 8 feet or so. It's kind of cool, but not super useful. I suppose it's like the sorcery version of like the quick step skill, but not as spammable. And also takes up an entire spell slot, so not as worth it, but it's kind of neat to show off sometimes.
Oh yes, do mind your feet around the church. You wouldn't want to hurt the little boy.
Anyways, I forgot to show it off, but items we got last time were the Golden Ark's Incantation, a hefty cracked pot, some upgrade materials, the Tooth Whip, a cookbook for well-pickled turtlenecks, Moore's Bell-bearing shield and armor set, Quilline's greatsword, a rune that gets you 50k, a Great Grave Glowwort, the Mantle of Thorn sorcery, the ability to craft Golden Grease, an Iris of Grace, a Marika's rune which gets you 80k, the Fire Serpent incantation, the Wrath from Afar incantation, the Spell Direct Talisman +3, though you can get that way earlier. You can get it right from the beginning, actually. We also got Remembrance of the Wild Boar Rider, and a bunch of Scaduview fragments. And the things that he gave us are a map, which I don't know if this is just me or what, but I am garbage at reading these maps. All of them in the game. But this, a pale blue necklace made from a thin, elongated stone hollowed out from the inside, used as a hollowed rune to sound a hanging bell. It was a teaching of Count Ymir. The fate of one who sounds the hanging bell will be guided by the stars. So there are 3 different hanging bells. And I surprisingly didn't go get the first one. Wow. Okay. We can go do that now. It kind of makes sense that I didn't get the first one because I said I'm not going to be doing Talier's thing. I mean, I might, but probably not. But anyways, you want to head down this way. Up there is where we got the Swift Spear and Talier. But if we go down into the right, straight ahead over there, there is a ruined forge, which we may or may not have gotten. I don't know, and I can't check the map right now because an enemy's aggroed onto us. So we're just gonna keep running down. And we're going to ignore all the enemies. Because I don't care. Now, over there, if you keep heading forward and to the right, you can see a shack. You get a talisman that increases lava damage over there. Alright, no, we didn't get it. It's right here on the map. The Ruined Forge. If we have time, I'll do it in this part. If not, we've done a Ruined Forge before. Nothing special. They're all pretty similar. You have golden eyes. Got him. Right. And honestly, out of the 3 Ruin Forges, the one that we just passed up is the least important of the 3. It's basically like the just starting introduction one that has nothing special. It does have a new weapon class, which are kind of like daggers, but throwing daggers. Think of it as like a normal dagger and the throwing dagger consumable. Think of it as like those 2 things had a child. That's what it is. They're kind of cool. It's not strong. I'd say it's possibly the worst weapon class, to be honest. but it's unique. And I care about unique more than strong. We're gonna ignore that. It's an ulcerated tree spirit. I actually love ulcerated tree spirits. They're one of my favorite, like, non-major bosses. But we fought enough. There's 2 in the church district, and between that part and this part, I've taken 2 days off. And I don't remember if I fought both of them, but pretty sure you have to fight one to get the Mantle of Thorns, which I have, so yeah. But anyways, yeah, we ran all this way to get the 2-headed turtle talisman. Which, the green turtle talisman raises recovery speed, and this raises recovery speed even more, but at the cost of an extra 0.3 weight. But I think that's worth it. And then there's a cave entrance. It also has nothing special. The base game, right at the very beginning, has the Groveside Cave, which just has a few normal wolf enemies, a few basic consumable items, and then a basic enemy as a boss. That cave right there is basically the Groveside Cave, but late game. It's got some wolves, it has some blood fiends, which are the enemies we saw while passing this. The, like, big guys with the big tummies and the spear weapons. Some of them have a colossal weapon. Yeah, there's some of those enemies, and then there's a big blood fiend as a boss. That's it. And then here, we get the Mushroom Seller's Bell-Bearing 1, which allows us to buy mushrooms and red flesh mushrooms. And then we can head back to the Elak River Cave, which is the site of grace we got right after grabbing the Revered Spirit Ash. And then we headed off to the right. Instead of heading off to the right, we can head forward to this waterfall. And you need to make a lot of jumps, but that's okay. Here you get a cookbook. This cookbook lets you buy hefty rock pots. So there are different, like, pot items that you can make. And, like, fire pot does fire damage. Magic pot does magic damage. The lightning pot does lightning damage. Hefty rock pot is a big pot. And so it has a different animation and it's slower, but it just does damage. Just a big chunk of physical damage. Pretty funny. We're gonna throw that on, because there's another bell-bearing thing that you can shoot. I've skipped a lot of those so far. Like, there's one over here by Cliff Road Terminus. If you go this way, there's a drop down. There's one there. And over here, beyond Bonnie Village, going up here, there's one on the left side on these things by some wolves that I skipped. I was once told a coffin could convey its passengers upon a gentle cruise to the velvet garden of deepest purple. Oh, to slumber in such a paradise. Yeah, so they're talking about the stone coffin fisher. Which, again, I might do, but probably not. Not this run. I've done it all the other runs. But it's just not an area I enjoy. From a visual standpoint, it's pretty cool, but... That one gets you toxic mushrooms and white flesh mushrooms. And then if you head off to the left here, there's another weapon in a bit. It's just one of those areas, the Stone Coffin Fisher, where it's neat, but it's not something I enjoy going through every time. It's something that I enjoy going through once every maybe 5 runs. And here's the lightning perfume bottle. Pure lightning damage with dex and faith scaling. And one of those things. A furnace golem. Who you can fight or ignore. Up to you. Killing them gets you crystal tears for your Flask of Wondrous Physic. But anyways, Cerulean Coast. And we are going to take a quick little detour off to the right. If you've watched my runs, you'll know that I'm typically pretty thorough. At least in terms of areas and bosses. Not so much bosses in Elden Ring, because there's like 150 in the base game. But in Dark Souls 1, in Dark Souls 3, in Bloodborne, I take on every single boss, every single run. Because I like to be thorough. But Elden Ring is just such a massive game. Nah. But it's just such a massive game that if you're someone like me who goes through a run, Scaduview fragment, and then immediately just starts another run after that, once you go through like 4 or 5 runs back to back to back to back to back, going through every single area and every single like notable boss or unique boss, ooh, even if you enjoy the game, it can get draining. And then we can head back. But it can get very draining, and especially for the bosses that you don't enjoy as much. And the Putrescent Knight, which is the boss of that area, is just one I don't enjoy nearly as much as a lot of others. Yep. Once again, they're weak to holy damage. And there's one skill. I don't know if I have it on me. A Sacred Order. I would highly suggest, even if you only have like 10 faith, throw on Sacred Order on a physical weapon. Like, if you go mostly into strength or dex, put Sacred Order on a physical weapon, and it will shred those bosses, I promise. You will be surprised. But anyways, up there, you'll find a giant hole in the ground, and that's where you can go for the Stone Coffin Fisher. It's a sleep area with St. Trina. It's got some upgrade materials like Scaduview tree fragments. And it's like the area itself, it's decent enough. Carved words coalesce. I abandon here my doubt and vacillation. I assume that's how you pronounce it. Yeah, the area itself, pretty decent. I just skipped the boss. Because the boss isn't really fun for me. They're one of those really weird tempo bosses, like the dancer from Dark Souls 3. And so if you like those weird off-tempo bosses with the very unique movements, you might like them. Just personally not for me. You can call me boring, but I preferred the much more rhythmic bosses. Like the duelists, or the Erdtree avatars, or the... Oh, God, I can't remember the name right now, but the snake things. The one that popped up before getting the two-headed turtle talisman. For some reason, my mind is just blanking on their name. But they're the, like, big snake enemies that breathe fire and explode in Phase 2. I really like them. They have a rhythm to them that feels very natural. If you go up that way, you'll find a, like, small coffin thing that you can use to duplicate a boss soul, in case you want both rewards. And yeah, most of these guys just shoot glintstone nails at you, but if that purple thing hits you, you get trapped. I rolled too early. And if an enemy hits you, you get to break out of it early. But if it hits you on your horse, it knocks you off your horse. And knocks you, like, flat on the ground. Kind of like this gesture. And then you have a very slow stand-up animation. and one of those things spawns out of the sky and grabs you and does some damage. But here, with the Hull Laden necklace, you can get the Crimson Seed Talisman +1. Okay. Now from here, you're supposed to go back to Count Ymir, and you're supposed to talk to him. But I'd rather just go here immediately. And the thing we got, it's like the Crimson Seed Talisman, which gets you more health back when you sip your red flask, but it's even better at the cost of an extra 0.3 weight. And that's something I think is kind of cool about the DLC, is it gives you talismans that you already have, but better. Like a better Green Turtle Talisman, a better Crimson Seed Talisman, the better Drake Talismans. And it gives you, like, better Horn Charm Talismans. And it gives you some new unique stuff. Like non-physical damage negation, better two-handing, more damage after defeating an enemy. It's cool, I like it. And here, Tree Sentinels. And you may or may not have noticed, so far, all the bosses have been new. We might want to go with this. Actually, we might want to go with this. Yeah, that's a good damage. And this is the Faith one. Might as well show off some incantations while we're here. Oh, you'll love to see it. And we get no runes, but we do get a Blessing of Marika. And then over here, there's actually a second one of these guys. Though this one has a shield instead of a torch. And the shield is dangerous. And, oh, I thought he was going to do a follow-up. I'm trying to time these carefully, because he can actually shield, and when he shields, I didn't think that was gonna hit me. That was a bad call on my end. That was a bad time to sip the sippy. Anyways, when he shields, it actually absorbs your projectiles and sends them back at you. Like that. So that's why you want to be careful. Okay. That did not do a lot of damage. Not a lot at all. And I pressed dodge, but I pressed it too late. Rolled too early. Rolled just in time. The Goldilocks of dodges. Nope. And we're out of blue flask now, but that's okay. It's a late night. $240K and another Blessing America. We can head across the bridge very quickly because there's a set of grace here. But I thought he was going to do his shield and send the projectile back at me at the very end there. And I was fully expecting it and kind of wanting it just to show it off. But he didn't do it. And that's... I mean, that means I don't get shot in the face, so I'll take it, but... I was kind of expecting to show off an enemy's move. But anyways... you may have noticed... That's a base game boss. And we haven't seen any of those so far in the DLC. Like, yeah, there were the Erd Tree snake things. But they've all been mini-bosses, not actual bosses. So... that's kind of new. And here we get the minor Erd Tree incantation, which requires 70 faith but only costs 30 FP. And then the Golden Braid, which is for holy damage negation. And I will show off that incantation. It's not what I was expecting or wanting when I first saw it, but it is unique and it has a little niche to it. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to show this off, because I don't know if I'm going to be able to find it. Might be, yes. So, when you're heading down here, once you're able to move up here, if you immediately do like a full circle to the right and jump up here, and you stick to the right side, there are these rocks here. And you can actually fall into these rocks and become completely absorbed from the outside. This has no practical purpose. But as you can see, you can't walk out. You're stuck here. Now, you can jump out, and you can get on Torrent and jump out. But I found this once, completely on accident. I believe during PvP, actually. Like, during an invasion. And it just baffled me. It is right here on the map. But it just threw me off so much, and I thought it was funny. And that's another one of those things where, technically speaking, it's a flaw. Technically speaking, it's a bad thing. But it doesn't hurt the gameplay. These guys, if you can 2 to 3 shot them, they give a good amount of runes. But we can pass them up because I don't really need runes. But yeah, from like an objective perspective, that is a flaw. But it doesn't hurt the gameplay at all. And it's just something that I personally find funny to find. And so, even though it's technically speaking, objectively a flaw, I kind of see it as a good thing because it adds a little charm, it adds a little comedy. Kind of like how here you're supposed to have one hand on your weapon and one hand on the reins of the horse. But if you swing, the second Horned Warrior sword teleports into your hand and then teleports back once you're done swinging. Again, technically speaking, that's objectively a flaw, but it doesn't hurt the gameplay at all, and it's just a funny little visual glitch. And so, despite it being technically a flaw, I see it as a good thing because it adds humor, it adds a little piece of entertainment, and I like that. And so, even though it's a flaw, I see it as a good thing. Anyways, up here, we're not going to fight them. But there's a falling star beast. They ran very far. You done? He's not. He just really wanted to show me a lesson. And, you know, I can respect that. I can respect that. I'll leave him be. Anyways, down here and to the left, there's another one of those little coffin things that allows you to duplicate a boss soul. There are 3 of them in the DLC. I'll show where the 3rd one is. But for now, we can just head on down. Here are the finger runes of Dheo. That was a bad time to scratch my eye. Yeah, like I said. Oh. Yeah, this is the attack they try to do. And as you can tell, this one is far more dangerous than the first one. Oh. The horn calling did not go very far at all. You can die. I can fail to dodge that. For some reason, my depth perception is just not good with those things. At least not this run. There we go. Alright. And you can die. Oh, my bones! And yeah, I figured that the second one was gonna see us. Yeah, remember, you really don't want to get hit one on your horse. By that, you also really don't want to get hit in co-op. Because co-op, if you get hit by that, it spawns like 6 enemies. You might think I'm exaggerating, but you can go try it for yourself. If you get hit by that purple thing that stuns you in place during co-op, it legitimately spawns at least 3 enemies. And it's usually more like 5 or 6. But anyways, here, there's a second hanging bell. This one gets you the Cerulean Seed Talisman +1, which gets you even more FP back from your blue flask. And then from here, we can head back to the Cathedral of Manus Metyr. And as I said, the Whole Laden Necklace, there is a third one, but we'll get to that soon. First, here's a new NPC.
Ah, who have we here? Count Ymir seemed very pleased, and for that, I express my gratitude. I am Yolan, loyal to Count Ymir. The night is yours now to wield. Ymir is a shining star, in our eyes, the only star upon the black canvas of the night. Our meeting with the Count taught us of the star-draped sky. We know that we cannot reach out to touch it, but we can peer up at its brilliance and heed its guidance. We will never again lose our way in the night. I have spoken far too freely. Pay me no mind. Let us focus on our shared purpose, our service to Count Ymir.
So, she shows up after you ring the first one to get the Crimson Seed Talisman +1. And if you do that, you can actually summon her for the 2 tree sentinels that are before the bridge. Also, FromSoft is very good at tiny little environmental things like this, where it shows that a lot of people have talked to her and then went this way and have stepped over this and broken it. Like, FromSoft is just really good at those tiny little details, and I love them so much. There's another one in Dark Souls 3 at the Lothric Castle bonfire, where there's some tiles on the floor that are broken out at a single, like, corner for a Lothric Knight. Just wanted to point that out. Anyways, Count Ymir.
Hello there. The exalted timbre of the bells has reached these ears of mine. Twice now? How very exhilarating indeed. The stars are dark tonight. But rest assured, this is no ill omen. On the contrary, I believe that this portends a magnificent starry cascade. Now, take this. My final gift to you. May you join the glimmering stars above. Oh yes. I believe I can feel it brewing. This evening is a sign of a greater night to come. Ah, you met Yolan. Well, I hope that she behaved at least. The poor girl has overcome grave misfortune. Her tongue can be sharp at the best of times, but don't think that makes her a bad person. It's no surprise her little sister, too, has a heart of gold. I fear that you have borne witness to the whole of it. The conceits, the hypocrisy of the world built upon the Erd Tree. The follies of men. Their bitter suffering. Is there no hope for redemption? The answer, sadly, is clear. There never was any hope. They were each of them defective. Unhinged from the start. Marika herself. And the fingers that guided her. And this is what troubles me. No matter our efforts, if the roots are rotten, then we have little recourse. Ever young Mikola saw things for what they were. He knew that his bloodline was tainted, his roots mired in madness. A tragedy if ever there was one. That he would feel compelled to renounce everything when the blame lay squarely with the mother. Do you recall what I said? That Marika and the fingers that guided her were unsound from the start? Well, the truth lies deeper still. It is their mother who is damaged and unhinged. The fingers are but unripe children, victims in their own right. We all need a mother, do we not? A new mother. A true mother who will not give birth to further malady.
Okay. And now we get access to Glintstone Nail and Glintstone Nails, which are the non-purple grab sorceries that the things in the finger runes have been using against us. You can't get access to the purple grab one. But then you also have Fleeting Microcosm, which I've seen one or two invaders use, and it's decent enough in PvP for catching people off guard, because it's such a rare niche sorcery, but can do some decent damage and can throw your player. So it's decent for that. I don't know how well it works in PvE, but it's not something I've ever used. I've tried it, but I've never, like, committed a character to it, so it can't be that good.
May you join the glimmering stars above.
Anyways, the thing we got, Beloved Stardust, shortens casting speed for sorcery and incantations by the utmost, but increases damage taken. So think of that as like a worse Radigan's icon. But just out here is another one of these. And as you can see, you can make a bunch of these. I'm gonna go with Malekith's, because why not? Yeah, there are 3 of those. You can use each one once. And now heading into here, Count Ymir is gone. We actually know.
I failed you. Failed to birth you whole. But it won't be long now. I will soon be a mother. I will give you new life. I assure you. You will have life. Please, will you allow the 2 of us this time alone? It isn't much to ask. Please, will you allow the 2 of us this time alone? It isn't much to ask.
So that is a gravestone. I forgot that they talked. as you were walking up to them.
No.
And she has nothing new yet. But here, you can examine the chair, which has a button. And pressing the button moves this. And reveals a ladder. And you can descend this ladder all the way down here into the third and final finger ruin. The finger ruins of Metyr. However you pronounce it. Where you get invaded by Sword Hand of Night Anna. That's actually good. Beating her gets you the Claws of Night, which are pretty unique. Pure dexterity, and the heavy attack sends out little projectiles. And they also have scatter shot throw, which was super popular in PvP because they came out quickly and stunned and did a lot of damage and did bleed buildup. I noticed it's becoming less popular over time though. But still, it's pretty strong. Also, out of all the claws, they have, I believe, the longest range. So they're very, very good. And if you're going to use a claw, I would suggest using them. Or hook claws with either occult or bleed. Or cold if you want to be evil.
No. Be on your way. Stop. What did you just say? Wait, no. Say nothing. I have one star alone, and only his words will do. I will say this much. I am in your debt, but I will hear no more. I have one star alone, and only his words will do. Be on your way. I will hear no more about this.
Alright, so I like to keep things under an hour. And we're at just about 54 minutes. So I don't think we're going to be doing that Ruin Forge. And there's 2 more bosses and some dialogue, so... Ooh. Can we do that in 6 minutes? Questions. I suppose we can give it a try. But this is the third hanging bell. We can actually teleport out. Neat. Alright, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna show this boss off. You can see him there. But I'm not gonna fight him this time. Sorry to leave you on this cliffhanger, but... I want to take this boss on, take the next boss on, do the dialogue, and then you can go do something else after the dialogue. And then we have the end of each part spiel, and I don't want to go over an hour. So we're going to end it here. We started at the Manus, or the Cathedral of Manus Metyr, talking to Count Ymir. We went down to the Cerulean Coast, down finding another Michaela's Cross, into the Finger Ruins of Rhea, up through the hinterlands, getting some new stuff, fighting an old boss, going through the Finger Ruins of Dheo, and then finally coming back here, back to the Cathedral Manus Metyr, meeting a new NPC, getting more dialogue, and getting to see a boss. For items, we have gotten the Hull-Laden Necklace, some more upgrade materials, the two-headed turtle talisman, Mushroom Seller's Bell Bearing 1 and 2, the ability to craft hefty rock pots, the lightning perfume bottle, the Crimson Seed Talisman +1, the Minor Urgery Incantation, Golden Braid, Cerulean Seed Talisman +1, and the Claws of Night. And with that being said, yeah.